Okay, everyone, and hello, and this is Shepard. Different content than usual. New viewers normally do Monster Hunter. Old viewers, hey, it's something new. Sorry if you hate it, but if you do like Dragon Ball Z or Dead by Daylight, I can give a at least quick recommendation to checking out Dragon Ball The Breakers. And the purpose of today's video is to give everyone a rundown on what you should be thinking about and doing as a survivor in order to increase your win percentage. Just earlier today, I was able to go on a 10-0, almost 11-0 streak, winning in a row between mostly survivors, but a couple raiders. And I think I've got a pretty good idea and flow of how the game should proceed. So if you find yourself struggling as a survivor, or if you're just looking to see a different point of view on how I approach the matches, stick around for a couple minutes and I will help you, for sure, increase your win percentage. First goal as a survivor is actually very easy. Do not feed the raider. And by that, I mean the person that's running around trying to kill you or the civilians. Your number one goal is not to get taken out and eaten by him. There's a very limited number of civilians on the map, and if the raider were to try and level up from 2 to 3, he would have to spend a lot of time and get very lucky and have a lot of lazy survivors in order to level up off of them alone. As long as you are using the tools that you have, whether it be a grappling hook, scooter, Kaioken, or otherwise, or just be sneaky against the guys that don't have any tracking, you will do a whole lot in terms of making the game go a lot easier for you and your teammates. So if you're in a situation where you're not sure whether or not you should be confronting the raider, maybe you're by yourself, or maybe you're underleveled with another underleveled person nearby, the right choice, and 95% of the time, is to just run away. If you see the raider take somebody down and they're camping them, that is really bad for them, but in most cases, it's generally not worth it for you to lose your dragon charge to try and save some person, because at best, you might pick them up and both get away, but in all likelihood, you will end up losing your dragon charge, you might lose their shield, and you might get yourself and the other person both eaten again. So discretion is definitely the better part of valor. Stay away from the raider whenever possible, just to keep them from getting the energy they need in order to get from level 2 into level 3. Okay, number 2 is making sure you're always doing something productive. So in terms of your initial goal when you drop down, and something that should always be in mind is, am I working towards opening boxes in areas that have not yet had the power key found? And if in an area where a power key has been found, am I the closest person to the power key to start setting it? This should be your number one goal. Having the time machine set puts a ton of pressure on the raider, and it kind of causes all of the survivors to suddenly realize that this is a team game, and actually gives them the ability to kind of band together and start finding the raider. One-on-one, the raider will beat just about any survivor, including a level 4, if you've got the Dragon Balls and you've leveled yourself up all the way. But even a couple level 2s and a level 3 or 2 can do a lot of damage and even destroy a raider, especially if you've done a good job of depriving them levels and they're still at level 2. Other things to keep in mind is if you are in an area and you're opening up chests anyways, and you see a bunch of debris on the ground, assuming you're not within earshot of the raider, of course, you want to be taking time to blow these things up and grab the various Zenny or power charges in there. Getting level 1 is, of course, really important. Being level 1 and your dragon charge gives you the ability to run away, gives you the ability to take a couple hits if the raider does try and come in and hit you, and it gets you on your way to getting to level 2, which is generally where you want to be by the time the time machine drops. Getting level 3 is a little bit RNG. It's going to depend a little bit if you're near a number of civilians, or if you just get very lucky with finding the large power cells. But at least when you're level 2, you have the ability to help support and start dealing additional damage. Lower on your priority list should probably be getting the Dragon Balls. I know there's a lot of people out there that love summoning Shenron, getting themselves to level 4 and taking on the raider. The only issue with that is, unless you're playing with friends, if you're solo queuing, you can never really necessarily be entirely sure that people on your team are going to be there to actually back you up. Now, as time goes on and people get better at the game, I think this will be less of a concern. But as it is, unless you have already gotten 1 or 2 balls, and if you've gotten maybe a Dragon Radar level 2 or 3, don't take a lot of time running around grabbing the Dragon Balls. You'd be better off just getting yourself up to level 3. Assuming the raider isn't going to get up to level 4, the level 4 Shenron is not necessarily required in order to actually beat the Raider. As soon as the time machine drops, after a few minutes, Trunks will drop the 2 support pods. This will get a couple people up from level 2 to 3, as well as give you a bunch of cooldown drinks, where if your end goal is to destroy the Raider, you'll have a better chance doing it that way. The last thing you want to do is find yourself in a position where you've been looking for Dragon Balls the whole time and everyone's died and the time machine isn't going to go down, so your chances of getting a escape go down pretty considerably. The only time I would say it is worth going for the Dragon Balls is if you have one last area set and the Raider insists on just camping on that one spot. They don't want people to get around. So you've got a level 2 or level 3 Raider and they're just staying exactly in the middle and they've got key tracking. If that's the situation, you can actually go around, stall the match out, get yourself balls or get yourself the various power cubes or items in order to be able to take them head on. Okay, the last part, the final tip, is always know what the end game is going to look like and what the goal is. So as soon as the time machine drops, you're putting a great deal of pressure on the Raider. So as a survivor, even if you don't have your dragon charge up, you usually have a number of different options. Depending on what things you've pulled, you could have the solar flare, you could have Krillin's shoe, you could have the charming pose. You could have a number of different abilities that can interrupt the Raider if he's attacking the time machine, even if you're not able to attack them yourself. This is, of course, also not even counting things like rocket launchers or the Vegeta's gloves and things like that that can actually interrupt the Raider while he's on there. So as long as you're on the machine, assuming that you've got space between yourself and the Raider, and especially if they're being distracted by a level 2 or another level 3 survivor, you can be on there increasing the charge. You may not necessarily think that you're going to win by being able to get that charge up all the way to 100%, but if you're not going to be actively attacking him, say you don't have your charge anymore, this will at least put you in the situation to continue to put pressure on him, where he's going to have to start dividing his attention between attacking the various people that are coming after him and then actually touching the time machine to stop it. Secondary to this, of course, is you want to be able to attack him, assuming that you've actually go ahead and gotten yourself to the point where you've got a number of levels 2s and level 3s. Just keep a good idea of not engaging him one-on-one. Basically, any Raider, again, you're going to have a pretty bad time unless you're one level over them. And even then, you want to stay a little bit out of range because they usually have a number of defensive abilities that will outstrip you, even if they're at level 2 to your level 3. So really try and make it a group match. If you have to hold back a little bit, use your survivor abilities to stall them, you can go ahead and do that. The final thing, though, is when to know when to cut it quits. So say everybody's out of Dragon Charge, you've lost a number of people, so you're down to 2 or 3 people. Maybe you guys didn't really get a good pick of the supply drops that Trunks said. Maybe you're only level 2 or 3s, or maybe you're a bunch of 2 and 3s and he's hit level 4 and he's already destroying the time machine. It's probably worth trying to rendezvous together as a group to an escape time machine. For me, both for the points, but also for the satisfaction of winning the game, this is my last option that I would want to take. But if it's looking incredibly dire, it's a good idea to at least call out to your team, we should escape, and get yourself in a position where you can get out together, rather than, going out one at a time and possibly getting people killed as a result. Okay, hopefully this video helped you all out. If you like this game, if it looks interesting to you, of course, check me out, twitch.tv/SDShepherd. I'll be streaming this game quite a bit for the next couple weeks. I'm hoping it gets picked up by more people. It is really fun. I love Dead by Daylight as a viewer. I don't really love playing it that much. I mostly enjoyed watching the killer gameplay. And the fun part about this game is whether you're a survivor or you're a killer or raider, you're constantly thinking about what are your options and how can you best maximize your position. As it is right now, I can't say whether it favors survivors or killers more, but I can say that if you play Will, you will have a really good time playing it. All right, so that's all it for now. Again, check it out. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I've got some good ideas for survivor build videos as well as a raider guide video as well. Till next time, good luck and have a good hunt.